Illinois. So, hey, everybody, Dave Cooper and Jennifer, and we are live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So if you're out there watching us, thank you for joining. And we're going to talk a little bit today about modular construction and what happens after you deliver and set the home. So post-construction, is that right, Jennifer?
Post-installation, exactly. So this is week 8 of the series. The last couple of weeks we've been talking about the installation. Actually did some amazing live feeds from West Islip, New York, speaking to that very topic. And as you all know, the house is on the foundation. The modules are on the foundation, right?
Well, in this case, it was a pediatric emergency clinic. Yeah, but it is. It's on the foundation. They're making great progress. I spoke with John via LinkedIn or something this morning, and John was telling us that everything is really going quickly and smooth, and looking forward to bringing you some updates from that set and how fast they're actually going through it. So, which is really cool. So listen, if you guys are joining on Facebook, YouTube, most of the questions and answers are going to happen here on LinkedIn Live, but we will answer them on the YouTube and Facebook side as well if they come in. So, but again, LinkedIn is definitely the platform to be. So with that said, Jennifer, what do we have in store today?
Yeah, so today, like we said, the modules are on the foundation. It's all about what next, right? Now we're on site. We're working the construction that needs to be done on site, and learning and understanding how the modules all come together and what we find once we're inside. So if you've done all your due diligence, if you created all your checklists and reviewed all of your paperwork, the modules would have been delivered. You would have inspected all of them at this point. You should have already made sure that anything that was supposed to be shipped loose inside the modules actually made it inside. And as they were craning the modules onto the foundation, one on top of each other, you would have already made sure that any of those ship loose items were in the appropriate module. We talked a little bit about that last time. Making sure the right items are on the right floor. During installation.
I mean, it's funny. I got so much going on. I don't know if I can do all these screens. I mean, we got screens everywhere. So trying to figure this out so we can bring everybody the best information that we possibly can. So with that said, why don't we jump into it, Jennifer? I know we have a presentation, and let's talk about all these things that should be happening on your site the days after the set. So let me pull this up. We'll go to full, and then we'll share. I think we'll be all set here.
Excellent. So it's funny. The principles we're going to speak to today, believe it or not, are from a previous life of mine prior to getting into modular construction, and are still so current, so true, and applicable on so many different levels. So we're going to dive right in. We're going to kind of be heavy on the presentation today. There aren't too many slides, but these are best practices that we encourage all builders, large and small, to really embrace and win with. So the first slide that we're talking to, this is actually from the Modular Building Institute. They have this on their website. So what's the number one thing everybody talks about with modular construction?
Speed, how fast it can be done.
Right. It's speed, saving time, saving money. How we work concurrently. And you can see from this really great chart, there are variations of this chart all over the place. Like I said, we picked this up from MBI. And again, it speaks to how the site development and foundation work happens at the same time as the modules are being constructed at the factory, the prefabrication, if you will. And now we're moving into the install and site restoration. So you can see how modular construction stacks on top of site-built construction, and now we're really picking up the speed.
Yeah, we really are. So we've gone through the planning phase, the design phase, the color selection phase, the pre-order phase, the order phase, the set phase, and now we are at the point where this is on site. So let's jump into what this timeline is, because it can be as quick as a couple weeks to, as long or as complicated as the project is. But, on average, depending on what it is, it could be 2 months to 4 to 5 months on average for an average project.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
that is one of the most frequently asked questions that we hear builders talking about all the time. After how much will it cost is how long will it take?
Right.
And that's where all of this planning really serves you well. And this is where things can go very quickly.
It can, definitely. So we're going to go to the slide here.
Yeah. Awesome. So we talked about the installation, and that's where the modules are placed on the foundation and connected, forming an airtight, weatherproof structure. That is the magic of modular right there, where everything comes together and you're weather tight so quickly.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, that, I mean, that's really it with volumetric in general, right? The whole idea is let's get it on site, let's get it set, and let's get it sealed up as quickly as possible. So when we say airtight, we're not building submarines and spaceships here. But we're trying to get the house wrap on. We're trying to get the rain guard on, whatever it is that you're using, get the roof shingling and everything put in place right away. That's job number one on the set day and the days after, is to button up that house, make sure that the weather cannot get inside.
Absolutely.
Right. So
yeah. So now we're moving into finish work and site restoration. So we're compartmentalizing that into categories. You have your interior finish and your exterior finish. And so much of this is intertwined. It's not one or the other. You don't work on one and then work on the other. These are intertwined and, you know, happen concurrently. And that's the beauty of modular construction as well. You can have multiple teams safely distanced, working together very quickly once the modules have been installed on the foundation. Yeah,
so much easier. I saw Jerry McCaughey put up a post of, you know, framing traditional on site with builders and, you know, 7 or 8 guys arm in arm, all lifting the wall up, and then offsite construction panelized, where you have 1 or 2 people on each end of a 16, 20-foot wall, whatever the section is, and putting it in place. So absolutely, especially in times like these, this is definitely a better way to build.
Right. So we may not touch on every single detail here on the slide today. We're breaking this up into 2 shows just because it's too much to handle. But essentially what you'll see is interior finish, sheetrock flooring, trim, mechanicals, and your exterior finish, everything that's on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much, right? You got the interior finishes, you know, all the way to faucets and flooring and lighting. But on the exterior, you have the exterior cladding. We still got to get into utilities and MEPs, and how do we get gas into the house, or water, or the sewer, and all those connections. So we're definitely gonna cover a lot today, and we're gonna move through these slides. Yeah.
So this is just, you know, some word art for you to kind of think about. But essentially these are, I know, right?
Word art. We're builders.
I know, this is what we're really trying to achieve here when the modules are first installed. Create a system to promote a high level of productivity, safety, and respect throughout the workspace. Now that's the part that from my previous life that we had infused, because when things are safe, when things are clean, when you're moving along productively on the work site, it just fosters this environment of respect. The trades have respect for each other, their space. You're showing respect for the homeowner.
That's right.
You're showing respect and support for your employees. You know, if your carpenters are on staff and your trade partners, you know, if everything's in-house, when you keep a clean and safe job site, that's being respectful of your employees, the homeowners, and the home.
It really is. And, you know, you have to remember, the homeowner is so excited at this stage of the game that the appearance of what is happening is everything. I mean, it is everything. They're excited. We're excited. You need to keep everybody moving. And it doesn't matter if it's commercial or residential.
Right.
The customer is excited. And with that said, Jennifer is absolutely right. A clean working environment that has rules is good for everybody. Kids love rules. Adults love rules. We all have to have rules. So we're going to get into that a little bit here. So let's jump on.
Yeah. So 6S, lean workplace. What is this? What is this infographic? What are these little pictures? And 6S used to be 5S. And now more than ever, that latest and greatest S, which is safety, takes on a whole new meaning. And when you adopt this type of principle, when you adopt this approach to your job site, your work site, safety just flows from there.
Yeah.
And this, I think, is right up your alley. You know, we talk about this all the time. sort everything, right? All of that product that
Organize.
comes in those modules, set them in order, organize the ship loose items, build shelves if you have, right?
Yep.
And this comes into that whole repurpose, reuse, recycle, because there will be some extra lumber from when the modules were delivered. And you can repurpose, those extra 2x4s, that extra bracing, build those shelves, organize your workspace, and get anything that you don't need, anything that truly can't be repurposed, reused, or recycled. That is when, you just bite the bullet and you make sure it's off the job site, out of your way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's time to actually, dive into what's in the house, right? So that house is delivered. It's put on the foundation. Step number one, inventory. What do we have? What do we need? We need to be focused on what's in there. Make sure we got all of our product. And we need to organize the product, not just check it off a list. And better have a list. You better know what's supposed to be in there, and don't wait weeks or days. You need to do it right away, because it's going to be scattered in different parts of the house or different parts of a building, in closets, in mechanical rooms. It's going to be all over the place. So really, really, really start diving into this, because if something is missing, you need to report it right away to the manufacturer. You need to report it right away. You can't wait. And I'm sure that in their contract, there's a timeline for you to be able to report things and get it done.
Yeah. And you don't want to be at the bottom of the list when it's time to install that light fixture, or, do something with the ship loose items that you have there, and you're waiting on a replacement item. That's definitely no fun.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. So what does that mean? So a lot of times in our projects, we tell people in a separate room, in a basement, utility room, build shelves out of some of the leftover 2x4, the shipping 2x4. There's all kinds of uses that you can use some of the bracing that comes in these houses. And one of them is to stay organized. Two is also to build stairs and some other things, or walls. But you want to get everything in a place where it's easy for the trades, easy for your workers, everybody to be able to find it, because efficiency is key. We don't need people running around everywhere looking in different closets, different rooms, different, office rooms, whatever the case is, trying to find something that's there.
Yeah, for sure. And, just that last one, shine, clean the workplace. And use preventative steps to keep job sites clean and safe. This also includes things in the home. What Dave is talking about is, don't use your quartz countertops as storage. Protect those countertops, protect those bathtubs, protect those shower floors. Those are not your storage locations. Cover them up, because invariably somebody will set a coffee cup down and it will get spilled. So protect those areas, those surfaces, and again, be respectful of the environment.
Yeah, I'll give you a little horror story here. Actually, not too long ago, we were working on a house, and in the house, somebody left the power charger for the batteries for their power equipment on the counter for the entire length of the job on a quartz countertop. It actually burned from the heat a stain of the power charger on it, because it sat there so long, and so much heat, it actually left a stain, and we had to replace the entire countertop. Can you imagine that? Nothing on the counter.
Yeah, nothing.
And nothing. And that's what, a year ago, 2 years ago, we caught that. Didn't even cross our minds. Seemed like a good idea.
Yeah, right.
So, all right. So definitely want to clean everything up. We want to make sure everything's neat and tidy. Remember, it's all about the client. It's all about the customer. It's all about safety, and it's all about efficiency. So clients are always first, because we live for referrals, no matter what it is, commercial or residential. Referrals. That is your next customer.
Absolutely. So here are the rest of the S's: standardize, sustain, and safety. So essentially, standardize, provide visual reminders, setting expectations for all workers' responsibilities, and code of conduct. This isn't just for the trade partners and the workers in the house. This is very much true for the homeowners who may think it's okay to come and go, or the tenants or whomever might be occupying that space in the future. They may think it's okay to come and go as they please. And if you have set that up as a rule, if that is exactly true, then it's fine. But if you have other rules in place, standardize that code of conduct, make sure everybody's aware, and share that message with everybody who may be in and out of the job site.
Yeah, and not only share it, post it, right?
We'll get into that next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, the safety side of this is a really, really big factor. A lot of time these units are coming without stairs. A lot of times commercial stairs need to be put in, things of that nature. So think safety, walk through on that first day, make your list of everything that has to be done, safety railings, whatever. That is all part of this.
Right. So again, when you think about these 6 S's, these are things that you could implement at home in your personal life, right? It's kind of common sense.
Yeah.
It just seems so much more important when you're on a job site where construction hazards exist.
For sure.
Yeah. So we talked about those visual cues. We talked about those visual reminders. Again, identify the rules and conditions for productivity and safety for everybody: employees, trade partners, homeowners, neighbors, real estate agents, anybody who might be coming and going. Because remember, this is also a selling tool, right?
It is. Oh, always a selling tool. Everybody looks at new construction, especially offsite modular, because one second it was there or wasn't there, and the next second, there it is. People wreck. They just can't believe it.
Yeah.
So, but absolutely, you got to set the ground rules with everybody. That's part of we talked about earlier, pre-construction meetings, always reinforcing the rules because everybody likes rules, right, Jen?
Yeah. And, just getting back to the PPE for a minute, that is like another buzzword lately. But think about how robust social media is right now. You really need your crews wearing PPE because people are taking photos. It's a proud moment for homeowners. They're not thinking about the fact that nobody's wearing a face mask or hard hats or anything like that. They're just snapping photos and posting them on Facebook. You don't know who's going to see those pictures. You don't know where they're going to end up. Just avoid the headache and adopt the PPE.
So, yeah, I mean, it's good. And plus, not breathing in the dust, the AZEC, anything that's on that job site, they're good all the way around, regardless of the situation today as well. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Modular construction process, inspect and check. This is my favorite thing to go over with people. It really is. So again, we talked a little bit about it earlier. Ship loose items, windows, cabinets, doors. I am a believer in touch everything. Need to have somebody on your crew who is responsible for this, and they need to touch everything. And when I say touch it, they need to rub their hand on every window, every piece of trim, open every window, open every door, inspect the hardware, make sure things are pre-drilled and they didn't just drive screws in and split the wood. You really got to pay attention to the detail here. If you catch it now, you won't get stuck waiting for a replacement product that could be weeks out on order and slow up delivering this house to a customer. So check everything, inspect everything, touch everything. I literally train people all the time on how to do a proper checklist and walkthrough on a modular project, and it involves touching everything.
Absolutely. And it's not that you are questioning the factory or doubtful of the quality of their work. And most manufacturers produce very high quality work. The stories that we're sharing with you are one-offs. We've been doing this for so long that they just accumulate over time, right? But definitely you can expect a high level of quality from the factory. And if you've seen their work in the past and you know what to expect, well, then you know what you're looking for. But things happen. Things happen sometimes, and even it's the little things. We had a homeowner move in once, and we went there to do a photo shoot, and I'm looking at the mirrors in the bathroom, and I'm looking at the vanity. The mirrors got switched. So the mirrors from the master bathroom were in the guest bathroom, and vice versa. And they didn't match the vanities below. The homeowners had been living there. They didn't even notice it.
Right.
But these are the things that happens.
It does happen. What does happen? I mean, there's hundreds of workers in these manufacturing plants. And until more, automation, you know what I mean? Robots. Until more robots come into play and there's less people, I mean, there's going to be, mistakes. There's going to be errors. I mean, it just happens. It's human nature. Ultimately, your contract is with the client. the client's contract is with you, and then you have also another contract with whatever manufacturer you are using to build your product. Therefore, you need to always keep the client's best interest in mind and go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. And then the factory is typically going to always be there to support you and fix things. And they're really good with that, as long as you're timely and you're quick and you're not expecting something to change within a second.
Right. Exactly.
Last minute.
Exactly.
Sure. All right. So we hit everything on this one?
We did.
Walk through with the homeowner. Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah. So this is where, again, it's all about creating those rules and those checklists and understanding who is responsible for what. And this is a good time to review responsibilities, timelines, especially the big one that we've bumped into, residentially speaking anyway, and we know other builders that have as well, is call the power company. Once the home's on the module, once the modules are installed, start dialing the power company. You want to get that turned on as soon as possible. Sometimes the builder can do it, but sometimes they can't. So if the homeowner is responsible for it, they're very busy. Just make sure that they're aware of how critical that timeline is.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, there's forms, whether, it's a homeowner or a commercial job, where they can give you as the contractor permission to ask for, utility turn-ons and turn-offs. But sometimes, owners of properties don't want to give that up. Right. So, and that's the case then when this house is there, because that's when most utility companies will come and look when something is there outside of pre-planning. They need to make a phone call right away and get that process moving right away.
Right. And another benefit of using offsite construction and the pre-planning process is we rarely bump into change orders. But on occasion, once the house is set and once everything comes together, some things might come to mind for the homeowner, and they may question something, or they may want to do something that maybe they were nervous about committing to in the beginning. This is a really good time to review the scope of work, what was agreed to in the contract, and really poke around to see if there might be any changes that are in the future, and address those now before the real work starts. So common things that happen for us all the time is that they decide to move forward with an on-site structure like a porch or a deck that maybe they had changed their mind on or not committed to. Or maybe they say, you know what, go ahead, let's build that garage now, that attached garage. Whereas up until this point, they hadn't committed to it. Or they might say, you know what, this or that is just not working for me. We need to make that change now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's no different than a site, built structure. You can walk in, you can have different ideas. Your mind could change. Typically, it doesn't happen very often. I mean, if there's more than one or two change orders on any job, and it's usually the site work because, the utility company changes something or what have you, and we'll get into that. But I think that, it's an exciting time for the client. Be there to walk them through, listen to their concerns, answer their questions. Again, life is about referrals, right, folks? We want happy customers. Happy customers mean more business.
Right. Absolutely.
All right. Confirm schedules, trade partners and so forth, right? So why do we have this in here? Because yes, this should be done already, correct? But sometimes in our world of modular and offsite, we can get delayed. Weather, traffic control, permits across, roads, for whatever reason. There can be a reason why something gets delayed. You need to be communicating with your trades. And if you're really on your game, you're using something to do that, like Builder Trend, like Co-Construct. Those are just a few of them that are out there that are great programs. And if you're a commercial builder or a bigger builder, then there's other levels of software that are out there. The software, if used correctly, when the schedule change, can notify people right away. Your trades are there to support you and work with you, right? Absolutely. And that's the thing. They're an extension of what the value you bring.
Yeah. And just while we're talking about that, one thing that we've heard from other builders using modular construction is those programs aren't designed for offsite construction. They really don't support what we do. They can't really add value. We hear this all the time. And I will admit that they're not. They are definitely, most of them anyway, are designed for traditional on-site construction. But that's okay. There's still an order of events. There's still a process timeline. There's still a Gantt chart for modular construction. We just start a little bit differently down that road. So once you figure it out, once you organize it in your own mind, these tools are invaluable. And the beauty of it is that it's, you say this all the time, step and repeat, modify, update, improve upon, and it's plug and play for the next client down the road.
100%. 100%. I mean, I literally, any time when we were doing all of our building, we could sit pretty much on at any office on any phone, and I can look and see right away if I'm speaking to a customer or I'm speaking to a trade. Hey, it looks like so-and-so finished. Yeah, you should be able to get in there tomorrow. I don't need to physically be there because these systems update. People fill in the information, but garbage in, garbage out.
Absolutely. And the one thing that we've learned too with the systems that we've adopted and we've seen a couple of others adopt, they are so mobile friendly. They are designed to be used from a handheld device.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to carry your laptop everywhere. You're on a job site, you're doing this from your phone. It's really amazing.
Yeah, it really, truly is. It truly is. So listen, if you're just joining us, we're going to have a Q&A at the end. I know there's some questions coming in, so we will get to those questions. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, so we'll look at all of that once we get the presentation moving here. If you could hit that like and share button. If you share this, then we get more people in to teach this, because we are literally giving away the playbook to offsite modular construction because we're only 4 or 5% of the market. I mean, there's only one way to go, is up. We're not concerned. We want to help people grow this industry. We want this industry to grow. So again, hit that like and share button, and thanks for joining us. And not too much longer, 15, 20 minutes, we'll be doing Q&A, which is always fun. Let us know where you're from too.
Yeah,
Toronto.
thanks.
I saw Steve Duguay, I think, is from Toronto. Yeah. What's happening, Steve? All right. Yeah. So where are we at, Jen?
So we can move on. So, you know what, actually, these are just a few of the trade partners that you might need on site. Some of them may be on staff. Some of them may not be. It just depends on your business model. And you're probably wondering, why do I have excavator, foundation, contractor on here? That should have all been done. Yes, technically speaking, but there might be stuff that they need to come back.
There's always something to do. Always something to do, for sure. Yeah. Well, we can jump into that, or you want to jump in that here?
Yeah, no, we'll probably go into this more in the next show, just in terms of who does what. We're still on day one, day two.
Is that a teaser, Jen? That's a teaser.
After the installation,
we have to come back to that.
We're still in our honeymoon phase of the home, right?
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we're confirming schedules with trade partners, right? What is so important, and we made this very clear in our last pre-planning meeting when we go to production, is to make sure, and if anybody knows the answer out there, what do the trades need more than anything else at this point? Do you know?
Lollipops?
No, not lollipops. They need the most recent set of plans, right? We've already submitted engineered stamp plans to the town. However, there is a production set of plans that come with the house. So there could have been small electrical changes. There's little things that could have been tweaked during the production process. The trades need to know what that is, because they need to know what those plans are. And they need to understand and be educated that these are the plans we work from. Same with your homeowner, right? Yeah. Or same with the client at a commercial structure. You don't want them looking at a set of permit plans and saying, well, that's not accurate. And you say, well, these were changes that happened that we made, umpteen months ago in the design process. And so just remember that. That's one of the most important things, and that's why that's kind of on there. And have those plans posted at the job site.
Yeah, and do yourself a favor. Have one set on each floor of the home. Really, again, it's all about efficiency. It might, yes, it is more paper. It might cost a few extra dollars, but it prevents people from running up and down a set of stairs, a ladder, whatever. Keep a set on each floor, even in the attic and the basement, depending on what the setup is. That way people aren't running around looking for them for a question.
Yeah, if you really take the time to calculate the amount of effort it takes somebody to search a set of plans or get an answer from the third floor of a building or the first floor of a building, think about the time it takes to run up and down those steps. You are losing time. Spend the $40, $50, $100, print the plan so you have them.
Yeah.
Right. So absolutely agree. And again, here we're back to the review the 6 S's. I know what the 5 S's are. What are the 6 S's?
Seriously?
Start work on site built. Yeah, I'm teasing. Start work on site built structures, exterior cladding and trim. All right. So we're going to get into this, right? Because there's a little bit of exterior stuff. You want to be prepared. Now, we talked in the pre-planning to have your materials ready. Set days coming. Site built items, porches, patios, breezeways, steel overhangs, causeways, things that don't make sense to build at a manufacturing plant that are site built. These are the things being built on site. Residential, I know a lot of you modular people out there love to build your garages modular. And yes, it's good. I'm not a big fan of it personally, and I have my reasons. So we've always site built garages, and we can hop into that if you have some questions. But the real thing is you need to start work right away, because what is the one thing we are trying to keep out of the house?
The weather.
The weather. So we want to make sure that we have all of our ledger boards in, our steel, whatever the case is. So when the exterior cladding crew comes, they can get everything weather tight.
Absolutely. And again, yeah. And the other thing is it's all about the power, getting the power turned on and that meter and everything else. So this is where, from a pre-planning perspective, you really want to make sure that any exterior finishes, any exterior cladding, any exterior trim is on site at the point of installation, because that is the first thing that you are going to be working on. You want to get these site-built structures up. You want everything tied in. Yep. You want your roofing done, your siding done, and your exterior trim. So when you think about those first couple of days leading into the first and second week of what happens after the modules are installed, pretty much that's what we're working on. Now, a lot of the factories do install most of the exterior cladding at the factory. A great example of that was ModLogic. A few weeks back, we saw that great brickwork that matched the pre-existing structure. But some people choose to do it on site for many different reasons.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so it's just something in your planning process when you're building out your Gantt chart. It's something that you want to make sure is on the top of the list.
Yeah, 100%, get it started. And for you residential builders out there, I always have a tip for you when we're talking about exterior cladding, and we're talking about, sometimes for those of you that let the homeowners hire their own trades and say, well, I'm going to have my brother-in-law build my front porch with roof and deck. We always say, or and guide our clients to, then the homeowner does the siding too. There's no finger pointing on where that leak comes from, right? So we always say that. So either you take on the responsibility of all the exterior add-ons and the cladding and the siding, or the client does if you're outsourcing it. Now, it's a little bit different in commercial because you don't really have clients in commercial saying, well, I got my own, cladding guy. So, but in residential, there's a tip for you.
Yeah. And you know what, this brings up a really good point. And, some of that industry jargon out there, more for the homeowner, less for people who are truly building. But something we talk about is a turnkey job where the contractor is managing everything from start to finish. And as we all know, everybody defines start to finish a little bit differently. For some builders, turnkey does not include landscaping and driveways and things of that nature, but for others it does. So again, it's about that definition. But then there's another model that, is sort of a legacy thing, I think, with offsite construction, specifically modular, at least here in New England, is that there is a big owner builder scenario that happens here.
Yeah, there is.
And that's kind of what Dave is referring to if you're not familiar with it. It's owner participation. It's when the owner takes on some of the work themselves. They don't hire you technically to be the full-on GC for the entire job. They might do exactly what Dave described. My cousin's a plumber. My uncle's an electrician.
Right.
My son is an excavator. That's all well and good. Just be mindful if part of the work is being taken on and responsible for by somebody else. Think about all the components that are tied to that, and all of the components from a scheduling and application point of view that might be at risk if that contractor doesn't perform as agreed to.
That's right. That's right. You have to look at the liability of not just today, but the longevity of it, right? And again, a happy customer. You have to understand where that begins and ends. And it doesn't end when they move into their house. It ends after they've been in their house and they say, wow, the service was great. The house was built great. Everybody wants, what's the words? They always want least expensive until they live in least expensive, right? Or cost. So with that said, be really careful with that. What else we got?
Yeah. So, you know what? I think that's as far as we were going to take it today in terms of what happens after those modules are installed. There are some other slides that we're going to get into, but essentially it's all about setting your job site up for success. Really embrace and adopt those 6 S's. Making sure your job site is safe and set up for success, and that those practices, those best practices, are sustained throughout the duration of the build. Because what you want to do is you want to make it a habit where you don't even have to talk about the successes anymore. People just know. Keep it clean, keep it organized, sort your materials, broom sweep at the end of the night. You never know what's going to happen the next day, or who's going to walk in. And again, this is a selling showpiece for you, whether you actually bring people in from the outside to see it or you celebrate it on social media. This is your opportunity to shine. Everybody loves seeing work in action.
Well, they do. Can I get on my soapbox now? I got my soapbox ready, and it's a tall one. This is a pet peeve of mine. A dirty job site shouldn't be. This is somebody's house, especially volumetric when it comes in 75, 80% done. A client doesn't want to walk in and see mud all through their house. Now, granted, it's a job site, but at the end of the day, we need to make sure everybody is cleaning up. Tools need to be swept up, cords coiled up, put in a safe place where nobody can trip, right? Accidents do happen. You don't want that to happen. But again, this is just as much about safety as it is about the perception that the customer is seeing on your job site. Number one. Number two, people hate me for this, but it works. I love signs. I do. No smoking on the job. If you're a smoker, that's okay. Nothing wrong with smoking. Do it off the property. Maybe the customer's not smoking, but we don't do it in the house. We put up signs everywhere, and it's the same thing throughout the whole job. Clean up after yourself. And rule number one for all the trades is last person out locks the door. How many times have you gotten a call from a client if you're out there and say, wow, the door is wide open? Don't want that kind of stuff happening. It's very unprofessional, and it is somebody's home. So with that said, all the way through the process, your signs will change too. When the hardwood floors go on, there is a chair at the door, and there are a box of booties for anybody that wants to come in the house. Think these things through. One, it shows that you're professional and you care. It also shows the client that you care, and your trades will really respect you for it. They really will learn to respect you for it because they want to work for somebody who cares. They want a good name for themselves. And I think it's just super important. Everybody loves rules.
Yeah. And, when you think about some of our manufacturing facilities and how clean and neat and pristine and organized they are, this is an extension of that. This is an extension of, that lean approach. If you need it, great, put it in the spot that it needs to be. If you don't need it, get it out of there. 100%. There's no need for empty coffee cups or yesterday's lunch, and I know it sounds like we're kind of harping on this, but it's just one of those things where it doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen.
It does. It happens a lot, and like you were saying, for somebody like myself, if you're and I highly recommend you do this as well, do social media and take video and pictures. There's nothing worse than walking into a pigsty and you wasted your time. You can't take a photo or a video or your trades, interview them, put them up there, just little quick hits like that on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, any of it. Makes a big difference. Show people what you're doing, be proud of what you do, and it'll shine, and you're going to sell a lot more projects.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Soapbox is away.
So you can go to the next slide, because next week, what we'll be talking about is really detail. So this was a very high level overview of setting your whole job site up for success. Next week, we'll talk about the interior finish, the exterior finish, the MEPs, and how this all comes together.
Definitely. I mean, interior, exterior, MEPs. Yeah, the house is there, but there's a ton of work to do. And to be efficient at it, you have to be organized. And today was just touching on what you need to be to be set up for this. So that's what we're going to have next week. Do we have more slides, Jennifer?
We do. So again, going back to this one, because, the question is modular cheaper, right? I mean, that's what everybody wants to know. And we've gotten this question. We've gotten this question so many times in the last 8 weeks. We've been doing this for 8 weeks. And when you look at the schedule, time is money. This is where the savings comes in. But we're super excited to answer all of you, because what do we have tomorrow?
What do we have tomorrow? We have Tom Coronado, Citizens Bank. Listen, tomorrow's fun because Tom's going to be on. He wears a big cowboy hat to contain all of that knowledge he has in finance. And when it comes to financing and lending money in offsite construction, he's been doing it for a long time. The guy is a rock star. He actually spoke recently at IWBC, and I think he was on Simplex's, another manufacturer's podcast recently. So Tom Coronado tomorrow at 11 a.m. is going to be on there. Oh, I got a slide.
Yeah.
I forgot. So there it is, 11 a.m., May 13th, Tom Coronado. You want to learn about modular and offsite financing? This is the guy to ask the questions and learn from. Be sure to tune in for that, for sure.
Yeah. So we're super excited for that. And as we always say, it's all about your partners. It's all about reaching out and talking, making friends in the industry, making acquaintances. This is something also that we heard from Sarah Logan this week from Volumetric Studio up in Boston. We were talking about DFMA and computational design and parametric design and all this great stuff. And we were talking to her and we said, Sarah, if somebody's never done this before, if they've never designed for volumetric construction, what do they do? How do they get started? Can they make the transition? And her answer simply was partner. Partner with somebody who already does it, who already has done it. Dave says it all the time. There's a lot of friendly people in this industry. Just reach out. There
is a lot of friendly people. And as we all know, and I say things a lot the same over and over, don't I? An education costs money. You're either going to go out and try and do it on your own and get your ass handed to you, or you're going to ask for help. You're going to go to school. You're going to learn. You're going to partner with somebody, right? Either way, you kind of pay for it, whether you put the time in with somebody to learn, or you just think you're going to be, no offense, Tom Coronado with Cowboy, you're going to be a cowboy and go, or a cowgirl and go out there and do it on your own. You're going to pay. There is no shortcuts in this or anything else in life. Got to put in the time, the effort to really understand it. Doesn't matter how much you read about it or how many videos you watch. There's always a learning curve.
Absolutely.
So NAHB, Building Systems Council. I see Tiffany McCall's on. Tiffany, there you go. There's a plug. Tiffany is the chair this year for the Building Systems Council, the NAHB, Modular Home Builders Association, and Modular Building Institute, World of Modular, all of those things. It is a world of knowledge that you can learn from all three of these organizations, and I highly recommend getting involved.
And Tiffany made a great comment, and it really means a lot coming from you, Tiffany, because your work with RWC as a home builder yourself, just saying it doesn't matter how much experience you have. Sometimes it's good to review the process. As the saying goes, measure twice, cut once.
That's true.
So true.
It is true, especially in offsite. You want to measure, because once it's here, it's here. So we'll double check all that. All right. So we can end the presentation part of this and hop into what we have going on screens everywhere.
Yeah, I just can't keep up with you. Oh my gosh. It's like
I got so much stuff.
Like control center over here. But just a couple of shout outs. Hello from Toronto and Think Modular. You already called out Steve was joining us from Thinker Modular Design. We have Jason, is it Roth or Roth? From Yandia Technologies. Hi guys, is this a turnkey solution?
Yeah.
So modular offsite construction, modular construction is very much a turnkey solution. And what we are talking through is a turnkey project. So, and I hope that I'm answering your question okay, but there are some modular dealers out there who specialize in what we like to call set and protect. where they sell the house to the homeowners and they get it installed and set on the foundation, get it all buttoned up, and then they hand it over to the homeowner or to somebody else to really take it from there. There is that model out there. That's not the model that we're speaking to. We're speaking to if this was a full turnkey, one builder handling everything from start to finish.
Yeah. And we say one builder. I mean, there's trade partners involved.
Sure,
I mean, you have everybody, but there's usually one point of contact, and that's our preferred way of doing things for sure, whether it's commercial or not. All right, so Jennifer, we got a couple things. We got Elizabeth Hunt joined on Facebook, and Edward T. Boyle. Ed Boyle, man, how are you doing? It has been a long time, my friend. I hope all is well. Listen, if you're just tuning in, we are mainly a LinkedIn live show teaching about modular and offsite construction. We're trying to grow at other places. Please like and share this because we need to grow offsite construction. That is the only way we're going to meet affordable housing, attainable housing, whatever you want to call it. So we really appreciate everyone's support that's out there. Tom Reddy, I see that you liked it. Thanks for joining. Did you say Tom already?
I didn't say it.
Jason Roth, CEO, and what is that? Yandia Technologies, next generation heating technology.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
From Southampton, UK. So thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, definitely, Jason. Send me some information on that. I'd love to see what you guys are doing and what's out there for sure. Ethan Sherman also joined us. Hey, Ethan, good to see you. So listen, everyone, we really do appreciate everybody tuning in. We're trying real hard to bring this education to the world. Offsite construction. I have a big thing in my heart for it, and I love it so much. And it's the way of the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. No. Again, thank you. It's been a long journey for these last 8 weeks. This was inspired by current events, and we're so thankful that you share your time with us. And hopefully, we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely next week. It's a roller coaster. So listen, everyone. Dave Cooper, Jennifer Cooper. We are talking all offsite modular construction. We will be back Tuesday. What time? 1 o'clock. Monday, expert interviews. Wednesday is Tom Coronado. And we got extra. Hold on. We got Thursday. We got Miles Biggs. I can go on. We got Miles Biggs Ideas on, talking about branding and marketing, increasing your influence in offsite construction or just in anything. Mm-hmm. Hey, Matt Sullivan. Thanks a lot. And then also, Friday is BS Friday. I didn't tell all these new people about BS Fridays. Anybody out there know what BS stands for?
Don't make them guess.
BS Friday. Building Science Friday. And we have a special guest, he's actually going to be a host. He has a beard. He looks like he's from Duck Dynasty. I say it all the time. He probably offends him, but he's a nice guy. But you need to join in on BS Friday. I will be drinking a beer. That's at 11 o'clock.
a.m. Eastern.
Root beer. But it's going to look like beer. We're going to have some fun. Maybe a real beer if things don't lighten up. Anywho, so that's at 11 o'clock on Friday. So we have all these different shows. It's a lot of fun. And we look forward to bringing them to you. If you get tired of seeing us, we apologize.
Thanks for joining, and we hope to see you next week.
Yeah, for sure. All right, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
You got to wait. I got to pull all this stuff up, Jen. They're still watching us.